Hi, I'm Joe Siecinsky, and I am a results leader.
You're listening to ResultsLeader.fm. Being a thought leader is easy. Getting results is hard. This show is for the results leader who lives and dies by their results. Here is your host and Chief Results Leader, Jonathan Rivera.
You are listening to the only show on the internet dedicated to the men and women who are getting results for their clients. Welcome back to another edition of ResultsLeader.fm. Yes, you know what time it is. It's time to speak to another amazing expert getting results for his clients. Today, I'm going to call him the $20 million man. Today, Mr. Joe Siecinski joins us to talk about some of the principles that he uses to turn $2 million businesses into $20 million businesses. Yeah, that's a real thing. 10x growth. Let's jump in. Joe, welcome to the show. Are you ready to rock this thing?
I am ready, sir. It's an honor and privilege to be here. Thank you so much for allowing me to spend some time with you today.
All right, let's give our listeners a quick win. What book have you given most as a gift?
It is absolutely Brain Share, How Businesses Make More Money and Have More Time.
Brain Share. Got it. Noted.
By the way, that was written by this really cool guy named Joe Siecinsky. So yes, that is my best-selling book. So the other ones, I give out Traction, Scaling Up. Depending on where you're at, I recommend books. And I've got over 500 books in my library. And so I recommend, depending on where you are, that's what I'll recommend for where you want to go next.
Excellent. Some of my favorites there. So it's story time. Tell us a story of how an apparent failure set you up for later success.
Well, there's so many of them in my life. With the dot-com bust, I lost almost all my money. The 2008 during the recession. But I think the one when I started this business, I put a lot of money into it. And I was like, oh, everything's going to work out. Well, I got down to virtually $0. And my wife looked at my bank account, which she doesn't usually do. And she said, guess what? You either need to get moving or get out. And I had to do some reflection there. And I said, okay, if I'm going to make this thing work, I got to get moving. So I hired my coach and I blasted off. And actually, he gave me a lot of great advice. Like, I'm in the middle of Silicon Valley, one of the highest education places in the world. I needed to up my game. I'm not in Podunk, Missouri, where I came from. I'm in the middle of Silicon Valley. So I had to up my game, started reading 2 books a month, got my executive coach certification, NLP certification, and really up my game and blasted off and became one of the top 10 business coaches in Silicon Valley and the top 3% of business coaches on the planet. So that was a turning point when, hey, when your wife says, you better do something, I did it.
Good on you.
I've been married 30 years now, and I've learned to listen to my wife. She's pretty smart.
You know what they say, right? Happy wife, happy life.
Yeah, and that is true. And you know what? I don't know how she's put up with me for these many years. I think I would have divorced myself.
Don't let her hear you. What would you say is the most worthwhile investment that you have ever made?
By far, it is NLP.com with Dr. Matt James. It's a 4-day intensive NLP certification program, and it was $200, and that was the best investment I have ever made in my life.
Well, you're using acronyms. I think I know what NLP means, but why don't you tell our listeners?
I'm sorry, it's neuro-linguistic programming. You can consciously change your subconscious mind. And NLP.com, he's got courses. And to me, that was something that really changed my life and career by helping me understand how to communicate better with every personality style.
Man, that's the first time someone talks of neuro-linguistic programming on the podcast. So thank you for that. Let's think back. In the last 5 years, what new belief, behavior, or habit has most improved your life?
Without a doubt, it's the calendaring system. Putting together a system where this is utilizing some NLP techniques of different modalities. Because as you're running a business, sometimes you got to be the CEO, sometimes you got to be the VP of sales, sometimes you got to be the VP of marketing. You've got all these modalities. And becoming efficient is about staying in a modality for 45 minutes to an hour and a half and getting efficient and then switching modalities. Whenever you're trying to mix modalities, you become extremely inefficient. Most people waste 50% of their time switching between modalities. When I've implemented that system, and now this is what I teach, is my productivity, my efficiencies, and my entire demeanor changed because you stay in a modality and you get efficient and then you move and you switch. So the calendaring system, without a doubt, has changed my life and so many of my clients.
Now, I want to make sure I heard that correctly. Did you say calendaring system?
Yes. So how you utilize your time. Time is your most valuable asset. You can make more money. You can't make more time. How you utilize your time will determine the success of your life and your business. So if you're not using it well, you're going to struggle. When I implemented this system and learned the system and actually modified it for my clients, it changed my life.
Powerful, powerful. What would you say are some bad recommendations you hear in your area of expertise?
Well, man, I hear so many of them. It's not even funny. There's so many business coaches, business mentors out there that don't have the education, experience, and knowledge to really move people forward. But what I see is when people aren't congruent. In other words, they'll say, well, you should go do this, and they're not doing it. So to me, when advice is being given and it's not congruent, well, you should read this book. Well, have you read it? No. That's just bad advice, because if you're not doing it, how can you recommend for somebody else to do it?
No question about that. We interrupt your regularly scheduled program for a public service announcement. We're going to get right back into the show, but I wanted to ask you a question. If you have been listening to the show for any amount of time and you've picked up even one single tip, then I need your help. Get the word out. Tell people about resultsleader.fm. Share it on social media. Share it on your email. Share it anywhere. #ResultsLeaderFM. Now let's jump back into the interview. Why do results matter, Joe?
Well, to me, results is about making money. And when I say that, the more money you make, the more people you can help. If you got $100, you're not going to help very many people. You got $1 million, you can help a whole lot of people. So the more money we make, the more people we can help. And that's what this universe is about, helping people. And so the results is about making money in your business so you can help more people. And to me, that's what it's all about. My personal goal is to help 2,000 businesses every single year. And I've been doing that for the last 6 years.
Why is helping people so important to you?
Well, you know, I was at a seminar many years ago with a guy named Zig Ziglar. And Zig Ziglar says, how many of you want to make $1 million? Everybody raises their hand. That's when $1 million was a lot of money and you could actually buy something with it. And he goes, help 1 million people. And to me, that was just so cool, because it's about when you help somebody, it changes the universe. It changes everything. It's better to give than to receive. You know, you've heard all of these different things. But when I watch somebody change and I help them, whether it's on the College of Adaptive Arts, which is helping special needs, the American Red Cross, I sit on their board, all these, when you help somebody, it's fulfilling to me.
Now, our listeners won't be able to see this. Maybe you will.
Oh, yeah, Zig.
Right there.
I love it, man.
Not some of these youngins don't know about old Zig, but I love me some Zig Ziglar. I'm teaching my kid Zig.
You go back in time, you got Zig, you got Jim Rohn. There's so many things, Nightingale, all of these things go back and they all resonate in it. It's about helping people. It really is.
Now you mentioned Nightingale too. Watch out. That's one of my favorites as well.
Yeah, man. You're warming my eye. I'm getting goosebumps, literally. I'm getting goosebumps because, these are the people that actually help change the universe.
How did you get onto these people? Like, I was lucky that I had a friend who put me onto Nightingale, and through Nightingale is where I found Zig and Rohn. How did you get into this world?
Well, I spent 25 years with a little company called Hewlett Packard. And back in that day, we did a lot of training. And part of the sales training was Zig. It goes back to lots of different training. And once you start learning, you learn how much you don't know. And to me, that's when it's like, okay, well, where did this come from? Where did this come from? And I just started diving in. Now you want to earn more, learn more. Life is pretty simple. And I started diving into Jim Rohn and then Nightingale and all this. It was kind of I don't want to say it's initiative. You got to just say, hey, this is cool stuff. How do I learn more?
You know what? I'm glad that we're talking about this. I feel like people are missing out on some of these. So I'm glad that you brought them up, and I'm glad that we're having that discussion so some new people can maybe find their way to the originals where Tony Robbins got his shtick from, or Cardone.
Yeah, well, Tony Robbins is all about NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. Almost when he does. This goes back to Santa Cruz with Bandler and Grindler and Jeannie Labrador, who's in Palo Alto now. It started in Santa Cruz. And it can be manipulative, but it can also be very powerful to allow you to help people. It's almost like the force. It can be used for good or bad. So hopefully you use it for good to help people and help the universe and help. The more people we help, the better the world is.
That's right, man. So in the last 5 years, what new realization has helped you get better results for your clients?
And I got to go back to congruency. It really is. If you're not doing it, how can you recommend somebody else? You go back into my military days, and the leaders, you lead people, you manage processes. So to me, a leader is about being congruent and do what you say what you do. And, if you're giving advice, you better be doing it yourself.
What area of your business would you like better results?
It's the online learning system. I just released that. It's called brainshare.online. And, I've taken everything that I've done the last 13 years and put it into an online learning system. However, it is so robust. There's 13 courses, over 200 lessons. It's overwhelming for a lot of people. So I've spent a lot of time breaking it down into bite-sized chunks and now releasing it out to the universe and to the people to help them build a business that works without you, because that's a successful business. You can have a business works without you, a job, you have to be there, or a hobby, you love it so much, it doesn't matter whether you make money. Any of those are okay. It's your goals, it's your life, but know what you want and where you're going and put the plan in place to get there.
So how do you do it, man? I mean, there's no way on earth that these people are going to go through 13 modules, 100,000 videos. Like, I get that your heart and your soul and everything you ever did is in there. How do you get it to them in those bite-sized chunks? What are you doing?
So what I've done is I break it up. I'm a little ADHD, so I can't watch anything for more than about 6 minutes. So I've broken it down into 5 to 6 minute chunks. And what it's about that next step. Okay. The hardest part of the 1,000-mile journey is that first step. It's that first step getting going and knowing which one to take. So my job is to say, okay, here's what you need next. Here's what you need next. Here's what you need next. I mean, you can't jump into calculus. You got to do addition and subtraction, multiplication, division first. So the whole model is about building a business like building a house. And you start without foundation, and you start with your goal setting and then your time allocations. And then you build from there. It's simple. It's not easy.
What results are you most proud of, Joe?
Well, I look back and I've had many companies exit out and be successful. But I think when I jumped into one company that was at a $2 million valuation when I started working with them, and in 3.5 years, we brought them up to a $22 million valuation, and everything was running. And the CEO literally was spending maybe 1 to 2 hours a week on the business. That was results. And to me, that's what's building a business that works without you is all about. Is he didn't have to be there. He was traveling all over the world. Actually, he started another company, and this business was running without him. Like, went from 2 million to 20 million to 22 million, actually, in about 2.5 years. That's what it's all about.
Any parting thoughts you want to share with the results leaders who are tuned into us right now?
Learn more, figure out what your next 3 to 4 steps are, and move forward as quickly as you can. Know where you're going long term. And guess what? It's not a straight line. It's going to go like all over the place. Embrace and understand that. And then get some help. I've got 2 coaches, and I'm with them, at least twice a month. So everybody needs a little bit of help because, as my coach tells me, you can't see that bald spot in the back of your head, but everybody else can.
Why 2 coaches?
Well, one is from kind of a business perspective, and one is from a personal perspective. And then I also have a personal trainer and other things because you can't do it yourself. So everybody needs a little bit of help and looking at things a different way. So yeah, I've got a couple of coaches and my wife.
Of course, the greatest coach of all.
Absolutely.
I know that our listeners are going to want to connect with you. So where can they go to get more?
Brainshare.online is the easiest place. At the very top, it says schedule a meeting with Joe. It just schedules half an hour with me. Let's talk, figure out where you are, where you want to go, what I can do to help you get you there. And if nothing else, we'll have some fun and make some suggestions and recommendations.
Excellent, brother. Well, I appreciate you taking the time out to hang with us. Thank you, Joe. And thank you, Results Leaders, for tuning in. Another episode is in the can. That is a wrap for another edition of ResultsLeader.fm. If you are out there getting results for your clients and you want to be featured on the show, go to ResultsLeader.fm now and apply to be on the show. And if you love what you're hearing, share the show, give us a rating and review, do anything to help us get the message out there. Thought leadership is easy, but results leadership is hard. We'll catch you on the next one.
This is thepodcastfactory.com.